Welcome, everyone, to week 11 of Dear Mr. Fantasy, presented by the great folks of Miller Lite. I'm your host, Ben Mintz, joined as always by Stephen Shea. We got to get right to it. Here's Mr. Shea, one of your favorite guys, Lamar Jackson, just ruled out literally in the last 60 seconds.
Yeah, this is terrible news. I'm a Lamar Jackson manager in my big league. He's the guy I love to ride. He's my favorite guy to bet on, too. I have the Lamar lay every week with his over rushing, over passing. Tough news. Tyler Huntley is going to be a starter. The line hasn't come down off the sportsbook. It just moved half a point. So it was last night. It started off at 6. It went to 5 last night with the report like he's a little, still a little bit sick. But then it moved down to 3 this morning, and now it just moved after the news to 2.5.
Yeah, it's 2.5 right now. I feel like I'm getting it in a little late, but I'm hopping in on the Bears as we speak. Of course, I'm in New Jersey and I'm wagering responsibly. But just want everybody to like, share the stream. We're going to get you ready. A bunch of injuries to get into week 11. We'll be looking at the active and inactives list. Lamar Jackson is the obvious big bombshell, but there's a lot more of them. The Niners, Jeffrey Wilson's a big start today. I feel like an idiot because on the Pro Football, our fantasy minute, I said start Elijah Mitchell. Well, it came out. He was banged up. It looked like he was going to go, and then it came out later in the week. He's not. You got to like the Wilson matchup against Jacksonville. It's got one of the worst run defenses in Pro Football.
Absolutely. Just a reminder, retweet the stream, please. Anyone else out there, if you could. Barstool Maine just tweeted as well as Fantasy Football Factory. All right, let's get into some quick business. Miller Lite is the presenting sponsor of Dear Mr. Fantasy, the absolute best. Miller Lite, great tasting, less filling. Hopefully, you see a lot more Miller times by our players in the end zone today. It's been pretty low scoring the past couple of weeks with scores in the NFL and in the fantasy world coming down a little bit. Miller Lite, the absolute best. 96 calories, 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. They got Miller Lite everywhere. I mean, grocery store, beer place, depots, liquor store, everywhere that has Miller Lite. But if you want it delivered to you, go to MillerLite.com/fantasy to find delivery options near you. But again, you can pick it up pretty much anywhere. It is Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Again, 96 calories, 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Thank you, Miller Lite, for the sponsorship. We absolutely love them. We got to talk about guys across the league right now because huge ramifications. So we're in week 11. The fantasy is a little bit different.
Trade deadline just ended too.
The what?
Trade deadline and fantasy over too.
Exactly. So the trade deadline ended last night. Had Lamar managers known he's going to miss a game, this is 25% of the regular season is in this week left. There's 4 weeks left, 11, 12, 13, 14. Playoffs for most leagues are weeks 15, 16, and 17 this year because of the extra game. So this is huge. I mean, Lamar Jackson's missing 25% of the rest of the regular season. How do you feel about, Tyler Huntley in a Superflex league? Is he a possible start?
Man, it's really rough because he didn't get to practice any this weekend with the ones because this Lamar thing happened out of nowhere. And, so much of being a backup quarterback, you feel a lot better when they get those reps during the week. I mean, this just came out of thin air. The Bears don't have Khalil Mack and Danny Trevathan are on IR now. Akeem Hicks is banged up. They do have some injuries on their defense, but, it's tough. And let's not forget, Marquise Brown's out too.
Yes. Yeah, so Rashad Bateman, his over-under was actually pretty low. It was like 32, I think, 32.5. All right, active and inactive officially out. So officially active, James Robinson, who we knew about. Latavius Murray is active, and Taysom Hill is active. Officially inactive, Lamar, who we talked about. Elijah Mitchell, Jared Goff, we knew about. Zach Wilson, we knew Joe Flacco was starting today. Curtis Samuel and Kenny Gainwell inactive.
Alvin Kamara also out for the Saints again. Horrible. New Orleans today.
Reminder to like the stream.
Like the stream, boys. Thanks, Jeff Bodner. You're the man. We appreciate your support. You're one of our super guys. Saints today. No Jameis, Kamara, Mike Thomas, or top 3 of their top 5 offensive linemen. So fun times in Philly for the Saints. That's pretty rough and a pretty big win spot at 5-4.
A little under the radar move was made yesterday. Tony Jones was activated from IR designated to return. As a Saints guy, should we be buying Tony Jones as a potential pickup and maybe even like a pinch start today if you need?
If you're in a total pinch, maybe, but Ingram, I think, is going to be – they got him back to be the workhorse, and Ingram's been catching passes with Kamara banged up. So, I mean, I would expect it to be like 80-20 Ingram. I mean, Jones might get 5 carries or stuff, some spot stuff, but I expect Ingram to be getting the line.
He's not even going to be like the receiving back role?
I think Ingram will. I think Ingram's better at catching the ball than people realize. You don't think about it because Kamara's been there, but he's all right.
Okay, let's actually take our guy Jeff Bodner's question from a flex: Mark Ingram or DJ Moore, maybe Darnell Mooney. This is an interesting one. Mincy, I'll kind of
Allen Robinson's out today too.
Bingo.
And I actually looked and picked up Mooney in one of my leagues and started him because, look, I know Justin Fields has been up and down and all that, but I really liked how he played against Pittsburgh. I think, he's a rookie. Maybe he's going to start playing a little better. And, you think of the Baltimore Ravens defense, you always panic, but, man, their pass defense has been kind of rough this year. This hadn't been this game. Ravens.
You're speaking my language. So I tweeted about this the other day, but I actually traded Russell Wilson in my big league, Superflex league, for Justin Fields and Michael Pittman Jr. I am big on Justin Fields. He's been kind of up and down, had some tough performances. Last 2 games, pretty good. And he offers that rushing floor that we see with Jalen Hurts to make him like a top 5 fantasy quarterback. So I think Justin Fields has some legs. What this means for Darnell Mooney, he's been kind of his go-to guy. So I think that's good. But, yeah, I kind of agree with Mincy. I think Ingram is the play today.
Yeah, and I just think he's going to – it's all so much of fantasy's opportunity. And, I mean, Lord knows there's plenty in this current New Orleans Saints offense. Let me tell you some of the guys the couple of the guys I love today, Shay, and that's Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase against a Raiders team that's coming apart at the seams. We saw the group thing, the Henry Ruggs thing. We also saw them cut their first-round cornerback from a couple years ago from Ohio State for the weapons thing. You saw Mahomes go off 406 yards, 5 touchdowns. The Bengals lost 2 in a row, but just had a bye. They're coming in relatively healthy. They're favored 1.5. Burrow's like 272.5, and I think Jamar Chase is around 75 yards. I look for them, touchdowns, yards, big performances. They really need this game after they lost those 2 in a row off the bye, so I'm expecting big performances.
I tweeted this out post-midnight last night, but my favorite play of the day that's a parlay is actually Joe Mixon related. I like him to score 2 touchdowns and be over his rushing total. He scored 2 touchdowns in the last game, but I think the Raiders' run defense is not good, and the other defense is just in shambles. All right, let's take another question from Scott Cleaver. Half-point PPR, pick 2, Kadarius Toney, Tyler Lockett, Rashad Bateman, or Wilson. I assume that means Jeff Wilson Jr. Half-point PPR. So Bateman would be typically a safe play for me. I'm going to downgrade him with the difference in quarterback. Tyler Lockett is it's interesting because we don't really know what type of Russell Wilson we're going to see. The Russell Wilson we saw last week was bad. I did hear Pro Football Doc say that he does expect Russell Wilson to be a lot better this week. I think Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to be a start just because he's going to be the guy today for San Francisco. So I would go Jeff Wilson Jr. Kadarius Toney's been so up and down. I do think he has a good game, but I think Lockett's a safer play here, so I'm going to go Wilson and Lockett.
That all I can say is I'm nodding my head because that's what I would go with too.
Okay.
Let's also mention Amari Cooper, COVID out today. So CD Lamb upgraded. Michael Gallup could be a start in what could be a shootout in KC.
Gallup's just coming back. A guy like a prop bet. Cedric Wilson, his over-under, I believe, is 32.5 in the Barstool Sportsbook. He's a guy that already has chemistry with Dak, has been playing, so I like Cedric Wilson today. As a prop bet, not necessarily a fantasy start. But that should be a high-scoring game. The highest projected total, I think it's 56.5 right now.
Fair enough. All right, here we go. We got Russell Wilson or Joe Burrow from J-Ray. I'm going ahead and just immediately saying Burrow. Wilson could bounce back, but Arizona's got a pretty – you think Arizona's a high-flying offense, but their defense is not bad, and I love the Burrow-Raiders matchup, so I'm going Burrow here.
Yeah. To correct myself, so it's 56 to over-under for Dallas, Kansas City today. There's only one other game that's 50 points or higher on the over-under, and it's Cincinnati at Las Vegas, 50.5. So scoring, Vegas is at least saying it should be down.
Well, a lot of times it gets lower as the year goes on, as the weather gets colder too, Shay.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see. Miles Rose, Hawkinson, or Freiermuth in PPR.
Speaking of
Oof.
interesting situations, this Detroit quarterback situation. Who the hell is this guy again anyway?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Jared Goff has been terrible. If there's a guy backing him up, I would also have to assume that he's terrible if he can't unseat Jared Goff at this point. Pat Freiermuth has been hot. Big Ben's coming back from off the COVID list, and Freiermuth has kind of been his guy, especially around the red zone. So I'm going to go Freiermuth here.
Yeah, I like that too. It's hard to trust anything in Detroit right now. Here's a good one. 2 running backs coming back off injury today. Clyde Edwards-Helaire activated from the IR against Dallas, or Miles Sanders against the Saints. Going Edwards-Helaire here. Saints have a really good run. Yeah. Playing Dallas. 56 over-under. Saints run defense top 5 in the NFL. And the other thing with Sanders, Jordan Howard stepped up. We know Gainwell's out, but Boston Scott's been playing. It's been a big rotation in Philly. Edwards-Helaire is going to be the guy for the Chiefs, I believe. So I'm going with him against Dallas in the higher over.
We've seen, I feel like we've seen an uptick in performance out of the Chiefs' backfield since he's been out. Clyde Edwards-Helaire put together a couple of good games. So
I just don't. Miles Sanders. I can't. I know that both of these guys are hard to trust.
These guys.
Yeah, but Edwards-Helaire did have a couple of games. Miles Sanders hadn't done a damn thing this year. The Eagles have committed way more to the run the last few weeks, which is what they should have been doing all along. You got a running quarterback. They've been running the ball well, but the Saints have led by Demario Davis, one of the best run Ds in the NFL, only 200-yard rushers the last 4 seasons. So that's a fascinating matchup in that game to watch.
I like one of our guys, recurring viewer, Alexander Pompey, Gallup or Corey Davis, Michael Gallup or Corey Davis. So the matchup would indicate that this is a Michael Gallup game. However, he's coming off an injury. I don't think he's going to be fully there with Dak. I know that he played, had a week of practice with him. I believe he played last week as well. I actually think Corey Davis is a good pinch start this week because Joe Flacco is there. He's a veteran. He's going to go to money guys. It's a matchup against Miami, who has been better, but I think Corey Davis is kind of a sneaky wide receiver 3 flex play. I would trust him more than Michael Gallup at this point.
Okay, I'm going from Bastian Jeremy. He's asking about tight ends, Andrews, Schultz, or Knox. This is interesting because losing Lamar, Andrews is so much of his value is tied into that. Schultz has got a high over-under game. Dawson Knox against Indy. This is actually – I'm actually going to ask you for your thoughts on this one too, because this one's actually kind of tough. I think I'm leaning Schultz slightly because the highest over-under here, and then the fact that Amari Cooper's out could help some of his target share. Because Andrews, while he's a great playmaker, I don't trust Huntley. Knox is coming off an injury. Knox was hot early in the year, but they're spreading the ball out. So I think I'm rolling with Schultz. Do you agree?
I think that's very good logic, yes.
Okay.
All right. From Trust Me, I Got This, Cam or Tua? This is a great question. So, I've mentioned, I know not everyone's here talking about my fantasy team, but because of Lamar, I have to start Cam today. I'm a little worried. You think like the Washington game could be like kind of a revenge game for him because, obviously he didn't play in Washington, but Ron Rivera's his coach. They had a vacancy. They could have brought him in.
Yeah. 2 years in a row, they ignored him.
Yeah. But what's going to be his snap count? So he's going to start, but it has been acknowledged PJ Walker probably will play some. What does that mean? Is that because, and I would assume because Cam doesn't know the full playbook yet, yes, he was in Carolina for a very long time, but a completely new regime came.
Joe Brady,
he does not,
different offense.
Yeah, he does not run anything even remotely similar to what Cam was running before. Cam Newton is arguably the top quarterback weapon around the goal line. So he provides fantasy value there. You saw him score 2 touchdowns last week, 1 rushing, 1 throwing in very limited snaps. I think he threw 4 passes, maybe had 4 rushes. So 8 total snaps. I would anticipate he's going to play way more than that today, but how much? Are they going to bring in PJ Walker for a series, for 2, for 5? We don't really know. So because of that, I think Tua against the Jets is a better start just because I think you're going to have a little, how much he's going to play. He's going to play the whole game. So I know Tua is very good early in the game and kind of trails off, but Cam's going to be so unpredictable today. If I had the option, I would prefer to start Tua just because he's going to be out there and at least you're going to be able to see the product on the field, whether he's going to do well or not, whereas Cam could be on the sideline for a lot of stuff. But Cam will be in around the red zone.
One other thing you're not mentioning, the Jets defense, which is usually kind of feisty, is horrible this year too.
Correct.
And so I think that has to influence a little bit. Alex Collins or J.D. McKissick, it's a full point PPR, which is what makes this question very interesting because Chris Carson's out for the year, neck injury.
Yep.
But I still am going McKissick just because it's full point PPR. The dude catches 5 passes every week, or not every, but most. Yeah. And so that's solely why I'm doing it. I mean, if this is half point PPR or less, I'm going Collins. But full point PPR, I just think McKissick's like going to get you that boring 5 catch for 42-yard game. It's not really all that
bad. I like this from Olive Harambe, RP Harambe. Danny Dimes or Trevor Lawrence, Lamar Jackson normally starter. So this is kind of the shrapnel we're seeing from the Lamar late scratch, which is going to catch a lot of people off. I actually had a guy message me. He was like, should I start Daniel Jones or Lamar? He's like, I'm going to be on a plane during the general strategy stream. So I was like, it stinks. Daniel Jones is going to be the safer play just because.
Wi-Fi on planes. You can buy Wi-Fi on planes. We're not.
Yeah. From Olive Harambe, I'm already Danny Dimes or Lawrence. Lamar normally starter. I think Daniel Jones has a pretty good matchup this week. He's going against my Bucks. The defense has not been good. If you look a couple of years ago, same Todd Bowles scheme in his first start, he tore us up. Last year didn't have as good of an outing. He got baited into a few interceptions. But the secondary is decimated. I mean, Carlton Davis is out. Sean Murphy-Bunting might come back this week, which would be good. But I think the Giants or Danny Dimes here in this case is a very strong backup for Lamar.
Got a question from David Schultz. He says, Herbert or Tua? Look, I know Herbert has frustrated a lot of people the last couple of weeks, but Pittsburgh's without Joe Hayden, TJ Watt, and Minkah Fitzpatrick tonight. I mean, that is a walking wounded bunch. I know the Steelers have a really good defense, but damn, that's a lot to have out. To be losing those guys. So I'm rolling with Herbert here. I think you just got to fight through his bad couple games. I actually been banking on a bounce back effort here from Herbert tonight.
Yeah, me too. His over under touchdowns is 1.5.
It's 277.5. The FF Pod Sunday night parlay is Herbert, Chargers, and Eckler over receiving yards. I'm banking on a bounce back effort against the wounded Steelers.
Love that.
They tied Detroit last week, for those who don't remember.
I saw a good one that I wanted to take from Lake Boy. Jarvis Landry, Ayuk, Renfro, or Gallup. Hashtag Payche. Hashtag the Destroyer. Viva! So Jarvis Landry in no world for me, even in PPR, is not a start for me, honestly. Brandon Ayuk has been good, not as good last week, the past couple weeks. Michael Gallup coming off an injury, good matchup. I think Hunter Renfro is going to be your guy. He's just going to be all for the safest floor, and he's got that touchdown upside. He's so difficult to guard around the goal line, not necessarily because of his size, but just because he's so difficult to contain in one-on-one.
And then move him around
routes and things like this. So Chris Collinsworth talking about how he's inventing routes, which is pretty cool. So I would go Hunter Renfro.
I'm seeing a lot. I'm just going to make this simpler. A lot of Jeff Wilson questions in this chat. To every single one of you, I start him against Jacksonville. Just he's in a lot of option questions with people. Look, Jacksonville's run defense has been atrocious this year. It's as bad as any in the NFL. And the Niners are trying to pound the football. Elijah Mitchell's out. So just everybody that's asking Jeff Wilson or not, you just got to roll with him, I think. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Great matchup. From what happened last night, best show in the game, Sanders or Collins. Miles Sanders coming off the injury. In talking with Roan, who's my co-manager for the team Yak, we're starting Miles Sanders this week, and I believe we cut Alex Collins. Miles Sanders, from what he's told me, is going to be the guy moving forward. It looks like Kenny Kenny Gainwell's been deactivated. So I like Sanders to have like a pretty decent role. Collins certainly could see an uptick, with Chris Carson officially being ruled out, but we've seen him be the guy and he hasn't really done much. So I'd go Sanders here.
Pete Carroll, you know how Pete Carroll is. He's going to try to pound. I bet he's going to recommit to the run, but who knows if that actually.
We'll see. Rashad Penny also there. DJ Dallas is a guy who I like a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's muddled. It's muddled for sure. Every year the Seattle running back situation, like nobody ever stays. They get
even when Carson's healthy. It's like
he's out every other week. It's a tough deal. I'm getting a lot of Mike Williams questions. Shay, number 1 WR weeks 1 through 5, and like not even top 50.
Falling off the planet. His target. It's not only like his. Like catch production, his targets have gone way down where he's getting, 3 to 5 a game now. We saw a big catch and run last week that kind of boosted his numbers a bit, but it's been tough. So I actually have a conspiracy theory on this. So they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. He's playing so he's going to be a free agent after this year. He's playing in the Joe Lombardi offense with the Saints, where like the big slot, the Michael Thomas guy, the Mike Williams guy is very valuable.
Colston.
Yep, Marcus Colston. So my theory is that they're actually not giving him the targets so they can get him at a much cheaper rate. Is that?
I get your theory. They need to get him the damn ball because they were winning when they were throwing to him, and they have not been winning the last few weeks.
They've said the knee injury is not an issue anymore. So hopefully we see Mike Williams kind of unleash these last few weeks. That would really help me out.
Everybody's asking. So Dave, Shay, I know you were busy with your family. Dave Portnoy went off on Walker.
I saw the clip. So what exactly Brandon sent around like a text?
So, yeah, it was really weird. But Dave was trying to channel all his energy into his $500,000 bet on Virginia Tech, who made a big comeback. They were down big early. They came back. They cut it to 5. And Walker, there was some kind of weird text involving Walker and Rico and Casey. And Walker was chirping about it all over the room. And Dave told him, like, shut up. We got to focus on this game. And Walker kind of ignored him. And then the very next play, Miami threw like an 80-yard touchdown pass. And Dave just lost his mind. Don't mess with Dave Portnoy in his gambling. It reminds me, Shay, I don't know if you're a Sopranos guy. Being around Dave when he gambles is like being around Silvio Dante a little bit. Like when the famous scene in The Sopranos, the guy's like sweeping the cheese in the poker game, and he freaks out. Like Dave's lost it on me on streams before last year when we had the infamous my first time with him, and I flipped the game at a halftime. I just keep He's interesting.
It's tough when he's quote unquote playing offense like that, and he just puts it all on one game. Like I was at the stream where he did Bengals Ravens, and I told him out front like I bet the Bengals, but I did it way before I saw his bet. I did respect that actually hit, but yeah, the energy is like it's very tense in there. So
I've noticed Dave was in a little more laid back mood in the office this week after he hit his huge bet last Sunday, but then today, now that Tech lost, you just never know.
I mean, I'm sure he's going to have some units in play today.
Oh, I'm more than sure. More than sure of that. Let's get back to our question. So Joel Fox says, is Saquon a safe play? He's supposed to come back on Monday night against Tampa. The thing is, Tampa still does have a great run defense.
But Vita Vea is going to be
out. Vea got hurt, yeah. But they still were really good after he got hurt last year. I mean, I know that. I know he's like literally the best run stuff and nose tackle in the league, but they still were fine. But the thing with Barkley, he might get some passes too. So
yep, I think Saquon Barkley is a safe play as long as you temper your expectations. I don't think he's going to be 120-yard, 1 touchdown, 50 yards receiving type day, but I think he could definitely be a pretty safe, what I would classify as like an RB2, 60 to 70 yards rushing, 30 yards receiving, maybe score a touchdown. So I would put him kind of in that range. Here's one I like from Billy C. Half point PPR. Is it worth benching Michael Pittman Jr. for Rashad Bateman or Brandon Ayuk? No, absolutely not. Michael Pittman Jr. I know he's playing Buffalo today. They have a good defense. He's Carson Wentz's go-to guy. Michael Pittman Jr. absolutely must start.
Yeah, and the Bateman thing, when it was announced Marquise Brown was out and Lamar was going to play, Bateman was going to be the darling this week. And I know you've been talking about him for weeks, and he's flashed and all that. But man, the second Lamar went out, it's hard to know anything. Especially Huntley woke up this morning having no clue he was going to start this game. That's kind of, I feel like that's something that's got to be mentioned. All right, let's continue.
The line has moved more. It's now -1.5 for the Ravens.
Jeez. I got it in at 2.5 at the beginning of the show. Responsibly, of course. I'm going to do a parlay plus today, Shay, that I'm going to release on Burrow over, Chase over, and Bengals, by the way, I think.
I love it.
Hell yeah. All right, my next question. A lot of Mark Ingram questions. This is an interesting one. It's Mark. So I've seen two different ones: Mark Ingram and Adam Thielen, or Adam Thielen for flex, or Mark Ingram or Michael Pittman. Thielen's at home against Green Bay. What's weird though, Shay, I thought the Joe Perry defensive coordinator hire was going to be terrible. They've been playing pretty damn good on D, man.
Ball, yeah.
I mean, I saw that hire and I was just like, what? Another retread assistant, whatever. But, man, the Green Bay defense, I mean, the holding Mahomes to 13 and shutting Russell Wilson out the last 2 weeks, Minnesota at home. Who the hell knows what's going to happen with Kirk Cousins? So I'm saying Ingram here, even though that I might catch blowback. Am I out of my mind?
No, I think that's fine.
Okay. You go Pittman over Ingram, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Pittman's kind of turned into almost a WR1 at this point.
Yeah. He's the top 12 wide receiver in fantasy. So, yeah, absolutely. Brendan Blackwell, Jamal Agnew, a guy I've been tooting, Miles Sanders for flex, full point PPR. Love the show, fellas. This is an interesting one because I do like Sanders, but I think Agnew has just been hot. Like he didn't have a catch last week, so we should preface that. 5 targets, no catches, but I believe he had 3 carries for about 79 yards and a touchdown. So he's getting you, 13.9 points in that situation. So Agnew overall has been playing the Laviska Shenault role, and that's kind of like this, joker where he's playing wide receiver, running back. He's all over the field. He's returning kicks. So I like Jamal Agnew in this situation. I think he is a safe flex play in almost all leagues.
I like that. Weird spot for the Niners today, too. Monday night, played their game of the year at home against the division rival. Short week, flying cross country. Jacksonville, who, we saw got Buffalo 9-6 in that one, but it's a little trickier maybe than it looks. Niners are super public play at 6.5. I think it looks a little shady for what it's worth. All right. RB2, full point PPR from Jonathan Davis. He's got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Dante Foreman, or Alex Collins, which is interesting. So Jeremy McNichols is out with a concussion. Foreman looked all right running it, kind of looks like him and AP maybe splitting, don't you think? Kind of looks like a little timeshare. Good matchup at home against his former team, Houston. The Edwards-Helaire is interesting. Like you said, Darrell Williams actually wasn't playing that bad. So it's a time split. So this one's closer than you think. Alex Collins starting at home against Arizona. I'm still going Edwards-Helaire here, even though I think you're going to disagree.
No, I'm actually okay with that play, with the matchup. I like Deontay Foreman.
I picked him up in a lot of leagues this week.
Revenge game. I love the revenge games. Here's a question from Nathan Edgar. Take a chance on Gronk on Monday Night Football or go with Ertz, half-point PPR?
Gronk's playing.
Yeah, this is a great question. Gronk is going to play. He practiced this week, so he had a press conference. He said he was feeling a lot better. So I'm going to roll with Gronk. Is he going to be at full strength? No, but even at 80% strength, he's better than Zach Ertz and most of the tight ends. I mean, people forget when he was healthy, he was a very clear top 2 tight end. Like he was pretty much stride for stride with Travis Kelce. So I'm going to roll with Gronk here. It does make it tough that it's a Monday Night Football matchup. If you are in a pinch and he gets scratched and you need the points, I would go with, Cam Brate. But I think that Gronk is going to be a safe play. And I would encourage everyone to do this. I know, you get graded on points at the end of the season with the wins, loss totals and everything. If you're in a spot where, for whatever reason, a Monday night tight end like Gronk doesn't play and you've already won your matchup, I'm in favor of actually not like playing a guy who's going to be out, just because if your roster is so tight where you can't really afford a drop in a certain spot, if you have the win, I would just stick with the win.
One other guy I saw the question flash by. It was asking. It was involving flex, AJ Dillon, Hunter Renfrow, and two more. Want to mention how much we like AJ today.
Oh yeah.
Now that Aaron Jones is out, I mean, he's top 3 to 5 fantasy RB today. I know we hadn't mentioned that on the stream yet. Huge on him this week against Minnesota. We've seen him emerging more and more. He's been getting more and more of that share with Aaron Jones, and I think he's ready.
2 touchdowns last week too.
I know they've got another guy, Patrick Taylor, I believe, who might get like 10 or 20%, but I think A.J. Dillon, this is time to shine, man. They drafted him second round out of Boston College a couple of years ago. We've been seeing him emerge more and more. Wouldn't be surprised for them to let go Aaron Jones because he has a big contract this offseason too, even.
Yeah. All right. Dominic Rossi, full point PPR flex spot. Michael Carter. Oh wait, you just took that.
That was the one I asked. I'm sorry I missed it. I just wanted to make sure I made an AJ Dillon comment though.
No, you're good. From Nash De La Garza, James Robinson, Leonard Fournette, or James Conner, full point PPR. What I will say is you have some great options here. So I would not go James Robinson just because he is coming off an injury. So I would look at the other two. Both of them are pretty hot, but I would say Conner is hotter right now.
I don't see how. I think Conner's must start every week now that Chase Edmonds is out. I mean, Conner leads the NFL in touchdowns.
Yeah, he wasn't as good last week, but they were completely taken out of it. I would honestly be surprised if Kyler Murray played today. So
I don't know. He's not. The line went. Do you see the line? It opened in Arizona.
Oh, yes. It moved to Seattle being 3-point favorite.
Yeah, no, he's out. He's out. He's out for sure. I don't even think it's
it makes sense because they're going into a bye week next week. Seattle's not necessarily a threat. DeAndre Hopkins is out, which as a DeAndre Hopkins manager, I'm actually happy about because now I don't have to start DeAndre Hopkins' corpse and I can just wait, this week, next week they have a bye and then, get a full DeAndre Hopkins for the last 2 weeks and hopefully the playoffs. So, yeah, I still, even with Colt McCoy starting, I would go with
I know it's weird. It's hard to say this. They got shut out last week, but I actually like Seattle in that game today. I think you just under Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson, they're so competitive. I think it's a bounce back spot. All right, let's go to from Alex Cribbs. Appreciate the show. Who should I start at my flex? T. Higgins, who has a good matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders. Tony at Tampa. Mike Gesicki at the Jets, Elijah Moore with Joe Flacco at quarterback, Rashad Bateman, or Miles Sanders, PPR. Damn, that's a lot of people. Let's do some crossing off. Okay, I'm crossing off Bateman because we don't know about Tyler Huntley. Elijah Moore, who I do like as a player, this Flacco thing concerns me. So that kind of knocks off a few. Miles Sanders, PPR, hurts him too much. He doesn't catch any balls. So we're knocking him off. So that knocks us down to T. Higgins, who has a favorable matchup, but the problem is they spread it out. Tony, who's up and down against Tampa, or Gesicki against the Jets. Of those three, man, this is really tough because they're all kind of close. Gesicki's been getting a pretty good amount of targets if it's PPR. Go ahead, Shay.
One point to note, Gesicki had no catches last week. I think this is a big bounce-back game for Mike Gesicki.
I'm thinking Higgins here, though, just because I think the Bengals are good. We always talk about it. Winning down on these questions, there's only 2 over-unders over 50.
Yep.
One of them, you don't have to worry about weather. I think Joe Burrow is going to light their ass up today, man. They're coming off a bye. He's competitive. I'm big on the Bengals today.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. We're getting a spam chat from Josh S., Deontay Foreman, or Kenyon Drake. Viva! Dear Mr. Fantasy.
Unless it's full-point PPR, I'm going Foreman.
I agree.
If it's full-point PPR, Drake could catch some balls, but that's it.
Yep.
Does that seem like a fair answer?
Yep. Took the words right out of my mouth. I love it.
Sorry, man. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but great minds.
No. I'm fine with that. Wait, hold on. Let me take this one.
Ahead.
Spice Rack. I like this question. Big Ben or Fields for QB2? Bateman or Christian Kirk for PPR? I'd go Christian Kirk just because AJ Green stinks. He's been consistent, but last week was terrible.
He's just washed, man.
DeAndre Hopkins out. I know obviously Colt McCoy is going to start, but I still like both of them are backup quarterbacks for Ravens or Cardinals. I like Christian Kirk there. They just air it out more. Big Ben or Fields? Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is going to be a very good QB2 in fantasy moving forward.
Yeah, I like Fields too. He runs, and I think you look at the match.
Yeah, it is a good matchup.
That's the thing. You just instinctively see Baltimore, and you're like, oh, not a great matchup. And then I just can't. Carson Wentz throwing for 400 yards on Monday night a month ago. I'm just like,
With the news about Lamar last night, I did a Justin Fields over passing, over rushing, the game under, and I moved it out to I think 47.5, and then the Bears to cover 5. So I'm pulling big for the Bears. So that was my favorite bet.
I like that. I've got the Bears. A couple other ones I'm looking at. I'm thinking about taking the football team in the Ron Rivera Bowl here, getting the 3. I'm looking at Seattle to bounce back against Arizona, especially since they're sitting there, guys. And then I'm not a road favorite guy, but I'm looking at the Bengals today, man. I've said it before. I just think the Raiders. We've seen the Raiders have been the last 2 years. They've been like 6-4, something like that around now, and then they just crater. And you look at the Gruden, the Rudd. I mean, I feel like we may have another late season problem.
I also I was very confused by one line in particular in the Barstool Sportsbook. Christian McCaffrey over under receiving yards. It was 47.5, which seemed wildly low to me. He's got to be at least in like the, I would say high 50s or low 60s.
Yes, that's a good one.
How much? I just want to see that that's still available. Yeah, it's still 47.5 at -114. That is easily. I would parlay almost everything.
Yeah, and Cam Newton, and we don't know what's happening with the Newton Walker thing, but Cam, we know he throws. I mean,
and they already have a rapport. They played together. So
that's
Christian
my point.
McCaffrey, that is my absolute lock of the day. 47.5 over receiving yards.
Greg Lubin saying Deontay Johnson or AJ Dillon in his flex full point PPR. I'm still going AJ Dillon even in full point PPR. I know it helps a lot the Roethlisberger's back because Mason Rudolph didn't throw the ball down the field. But I have a lot of questions about – Ben's coming off of COVID in this game, and Rusty, I don't know. I think he could struggle in this game. I think it's very
I like AJ Dillon a lot. Let me see. Let's go Michael Hoffman. Half point PPR, already starting Nick Chubb. So we got Tyler Boyd or Dearness Johnson in the flex. Okay. Not even gonna read that last part. Go Bucks. I would go Tyler Boyd here. Dearness Johnson is gonna get some carries. The last time they both played, he did get a touchdown, but I just think that especially with half point PPR, Tyler Boyd is going to be the guy. So, obviously they have Jamar Chase there, but he has been down a little bit. Again, I'm with Mincy. I'm expecting a big bounce back from the Bengals, so I'm going Tyler Boyd here.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Somebody says need a Tane Gandhi, need a QB with Stafford on bye. Here's options. Cam.
Good options.
Against the football team. Derek Carr against the Bengals. Cousins against Green Bay. Wentz, tough matchup against Buffalo. And Tua against the Jets. I'm leaning Carr against the Bengals here with the high over-under. What would you give me? I don't like that Wentz matchup in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Cousins against Green Bay. Cousins could go. I just have no idea where we're getting there.
Yeah, my gut tells me Cousins.
Okay.
Cam is going to be the highest projected out of all these, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I just worried about them splitting time in the system thing, though. If you ain't getting off snap, it's a problem. I don't hate Cousins here either in the dome against Green Bay. Yeah. But as we've seen all year when it comes to predicting Cousins, no one has been worse than the man raising.
Yeah, so actually then definitely go Cousins.
Yeah. Let's be real.
All right, let's take our final 4.
Somebody's saying, are we going to do never mind, I'll ask you off there. Not a question.
I like the hashtag in this from Robert Barris. Bateman with Lamar out or Pittman versus the Bills. Prez Pache. I'll just leave that out there. Michael Pittman Jr., absolutely. Rashad Bateman. Even if Lamar is healthy, I'm taking Pittman. So Pittman, absolutely.
Yeah. That's fair. Oh, wow. What a name. Wico Bosco. Man. You got to delete that. Look, I'm closing my eyes. Elijah Moore or Tony Pollard.
Is this Big T? He's got the Tennessee logo as well.
Wico Bosco.
Is this our Connor Knapp?
I feel like Big T. Wico Bosco's I almost feel like he would have said the other name that can't be mentioned. When he's being nice, just being Wico.
As a writer, I'm not going to chime in on this question.
Yeah. As a writer, you're not going to chime in on it. Well, as a writer, golly, I mean, this is completely Homer, and do nothing with this information if you don't want it, because I'm just saying Elijah Moore because he's my dude. I mean, it's got nothing to do with Pollard does have an okay matchup against KC, but Moore's been coming on a little bit, so I'm going to say Elijah Moore. But it also should have been a senior day in Oxford yesterday.
Final two. I like this one from Weaver. Che Portnoy is insane for comparing Mac Jones to Tom Brady. Agreed. Jimmy G looked like a demigod in that system. Agreed. Alex Collins or Kadarius Toney non-PPR. Hashtag PPR stinks. I like half-point PPR. PPR is a little much, but
it's unfair when you find the running backs and can get 8 catches for 37 yards.
Right. I don't like the standard scoring though. I think half-point PPR, everybody wins. I've also heard of ones where they do like tight ends count for ×2 for catches, which is an interesting little wrinkle. All right, so Alex Collins or Kadarius Toney?
Non-PPR, I think you got to go Collins.
Right? Yeah, so my gut says I think Kadarius Toney's going to have a good game, but Mincy's right. A safe floor.
Toney is a Florida guy going back to Tampa. I'm still going Collins.
Yeah, I think you got to go Alex Collins, which is disappointing. I think I'll caveat this. So if you're in a matchup where you just need to guarantee not a dud, like not 2 points, I would go Alex Collins. If you're going to swing for the fences, if you're maybe projected to lose, Kadarius Toney, I think, is the pick because his upside is infinitely higher than Alex Collins. So I'll leave that there.
Okay.
Mincy, you take the last one.
Okay, last one. Full PPR, Tyler Lockett, Darnell Mooney, or Claypool. 3D options. Look, I may look fishy, and I'm looking back at all the years of info. I'm not benching Tyler Lockett in a full point PPR. Russell Wilson starts a quarterback. I know it was bad last week. I get all that. But Lockett in full point PPR with that chemistry, they're in Seattle. They're in a bounce back spot. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just can't do it. I just can't do it.
Yep, I love it. Okay.
Somebody's asking, do we have maybe we'll do some kind of video or something to release Thursday morning on the pod. People are asking if we're going to do anything Thanksgiving morning. I know you've got family plans, but maybe we'll address Thanksgiving with the 3 days. Like we won't do a live show, but we'll do something for you guys.
Yeah. Let's do that because there's 3 games, right?
There's 3 games. Yeah, Saints. Shay, what am I supposed to do Thanksgiving night? I mean, dude, insane. Saints, Bills, and the Egg Bowl both on same time. I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, you're going to need to do a stream so you can have 2 TVs up.
Yeah, we got the stream. The Egg Bowl stream's already going to be a huge one this week. Walker and me. I've got an awesome shirt already designed for Black Friday that only comes out if Ole Miss wins. So we need to rep.
We appreciate everybody for watching. On the way out, Mr. Beef and Cheddar, start Dante Foreman or Rashad Bateman. Deontay Foreman. That's it. Let's end with that. I appreciate you all you guys for watching. Thank you to Miller Lite for sponsoring the stream. And best of luck to everybody. Hopefully you can join us in the winner's circle on Tuesday morning.
We're going to get them today.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.